Consider supporting Sonicguru Productions on Patreon for just $1 a month. Link below in the description.
Hello, welcome to the item box. It's been a week late, I'm sorry about this. And as always, if you want to listen to the entirety of the item box unedited as item box raw, you can for $5 a month over on Patreon, where we've got some extra tidbits as well as bullshitting.
Extra bullshitting.
Anyway, how are you?
Alright, busy at the moment. I mean, there's been one thing after another, but, still here, still relatively sane. That's the main thing.
You're alive, okay.
Yes.
You're alive.
Yeah, I'm alive and sane. That's not always an easy thing to do.
Yeah, my day job work shift have gone a bit earlier, so waking up at 6 in the morning is not good for me. Not good for everyone because I have to wake them up as well.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I have been getting back into Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. I have not played it since November. Like I bought it like the day after release. Played it for a couple of missions because I got the demo. I thought I really want this because I like the original Hyrule Warriors on Wii U. And the demo actually, if you play the demo, the save file carries on. I like that. I like that idea.
Yeah, I did like that idea. A lot of games that's something I've been seeing a lot for the PS5 business. Like if you have a game on
PS5 as well. So Medieval, if you download the demo, you get something extra.
Yes,
when you get it.
Yes.
But this one is just this one's just the demo just gave you the first main story mission and a couple of extras. Because it'll go, okay, here's the 4 new chapters you have to play through, and it's like download the full game. Okay. So I really wanted to because I enjoyed the first game. I played those 2 missions and I didn't touch it for months on end, and the past 4 days I've gone from that to about 2/3 way through the game now.
Okay.
I got like two more story chapters to go. Because apparently each chapter is split between like 3 or 4 story missions. And I have a habit of not continuing the story mission until I've done every side mission.
Okay, well that's interesting.
Yeah, because I really should go back and play the original Hyrule Warriors and understand what the fuck I was doing wrong, because I just played for the story and I haven't touched it since.
Yeah,
this time I'm actually leveling up my characters, I'm fusing weapons together, I'm understanding what the hell I need to do.
I mean, from what I remember, the first one, like the original Hyrule Warriors, it's like there wasn't really a plot. It was just kind of an excuse to say, okay,
there was original characters combined in 3 different worlds. It was an own take. Speaking of the original Hyrule Warriors, there are certain missions you have to complete a quota of the area liking you. Not too sure why you have supporters, but whatever. If you can put that to 100%, you can unlock the outfit from the original Hyrule Warriors, the Link with the blue scarf.
Okay, then.
So that's an incentive. I'm about 1/4 of the way through of that, but whatever.
Yeah. But I mean, the irony that this new game is apparently like a prequel. This is basically, here's all the characters doing well before all the shit hits the fan with Ganon. Yeah,
that's kind of a problem with this game. On the one hand, the only people who actually enjoy it, those who like Dynasty Warriors games, and play the original Hyrule Warriors or its definitive edition on the Switch.
Well, we know Jim Sterling's a big Dynasty Warrior.
Oh, he's a massive one. And also, people who actually played Breath of the Wild and want to know what happened, because all we get are cutscenes in the original Breath of the Wild. So you kind of narrow the audience of people who want to know what happened and people who really enjoy the Dynasty Warriors style gameplay.
Yeah.
Which I do. I'm becoming a fan of it. I'm actually go and pick up Strike Force, which is I had Strike Force originally, but I couldn't get into it. So maybe I did something wrong.
Yeah. I do find it funny, like I said, that this being effectively a giant prequel, effectively, to what's going to happen in Breath of the Wild, and then we're still waiting for what the actual sequel to that's going to be in whenever they decide to showcase it.
Yep. And it'll be funny if the Ganon, because in the trailer it shows like a decomposed Ganondorf.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like on a sword or whatever, then it just sort of does the typical jump scare.
Yeah, now that he defeated the Calamity, what if that Ganondorf becomes a good guy?
Well, have they ever done that? Is that a thing in Zelda?
No, they haven't. He's just basically, well, I'm the only male, so that makes me king, and therefore an asshole. That's kind of his backstory. He was the only male prophesied to rule the Gerudo.
Right.
which for like almost 20 years now I've been mispronouncing it as Gerudo.
All right.
It's Gerudo.
Okay. I mean, considering that either he's a humanoid or a pig monster, he tends to be those two things half the time.
Oh, he's pig now. He's full on pig.
Okay, he's full on pig now.
Yeah. Well, on to the news, and we had a couple of mini E3s, as I like to call them.
They're effectively each of the parties like showcase without having to do E3. I mean, that was kind of up in the air before 2020 happened.
Yeah, I think I preferred this way rather than getting investors pulled in. It's basically, look, we've got some hardware to showcase, and we've got some freaking software we want to showcase on the hardware. Let's fucking do so. Quotations, cinematics captured on PC, so whatever.
Yeah, but that's always a thing, regardless of the stuff. But anyway.
Yeah, the first one was the State of Play from Sony PlayStation. Moving past the biggest announcement on that, which was basically, here's more Final Fantasy VII, which is I don't know if it's a prequel or an interquel to it, but it's basically it's called Final Fantasy. So it stars Yuffie with a couple of other characters, and it's called Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate.
Yes, that was the name.
Square, you need a fucking dictionary.
Or, for the love of God, one of you, when you file naming these things, for God's sakes, don't make that the final title for the game.
What was the other one? Kingdom Hearts 0.2.
0.38 days after Dream Drop Distance.
No, I got it.
All right.
I got it. Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue, and it's called Kingdom Hearts 2.0 Birth by Sleep, a Fragmentary Passage.
Like I said, it feels like someone who just named the file on there just to say, okay, the next guy is going to look at this, that's what it's going to be called, and then decided, yeah, I'm not going to change it. Just leave it until the final printing of the title.
Or just throw in basically darts on words in a dictionary. Just go, kingdoms, love, bananas.
Love, hate, hard, darkness, whatever. Okay, let's just roll.
Anyway, also the First Soldier, a battle royale. Obviously, I couldn't give two shits.
Yeah.
There's plenty of battle royale modes now. If it interworks with the gameplay and it's unique, then maybe I give it a chance. But if it's going to be basically, hey, let's do Fortnite, go fuck yourselves. Oh, sorry, let's do PUBG. Oh, no, sorry, let's do H1Z1. Oh, sorry, let's do Battle Royale, the Japanese movie.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah, PUBG's not fucking original.
Yeah.
There was, what the hell was it? Kenya, I think it was. No, not Kenya.
Yeah. That was a game. That was something I checked out. It was called Kenya and Bridge of Spirits.
Yeah, that's the one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kana. That's what it is.
Kana. Let's cut the whole thing off.
Yeah, that looks like a Disney game. Disney Pixar game. It looks beautiful. It may be bog standard later on, but if visually, like, god damn it. And I'm not really one for saying how the graphics are everything, but it looks great.
Yeah, I'm more sort of at this point, it's more the art direction and how they pull it off, really, more than the graphical capability. But it's a pretty damn looking game. I actually just checked it out that it's developed by a new studio, more or less just, a couple of animators working in commercials and shorts. And put it this way, I went to the website and they have a showreel of the stuff. And one of them was, I think you may have seen this or not, but there was this really highly detailed Majora's Mask tech video thing.
Oh, that, Christ, yeah.
Yeah, which again, I find
they did that. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Small world.
It is a small world. I mean, the fact that it's on their own website, this is a game for the PlayStation, yet they're showcasing, hey, we did this thing that people know from Nintendo, so there you go.
Well, we could blame them then for the actual hounding, not to mention Operation Moonfall for getting Majora's Mask 3D.
Yeah.
I do think that CG teaser freaking sealed it, really.
Yeah. But yeah, Bridge of Spirits, from what I've seen of it, I mean, from aesthetical wise, it's kind of a mix between Avatar and Korra meeting God of War, gameplay.
Do you know what the strangest game I got from that for some reason? Cameo.
Yeah, Cameo, yeah.
I don't know why, I just thought of Cameo when seeing it.
You do have little creatures running around. Of course, in Cameo, is like you're able to actually turn into these creatures and use their abilities. From this, it's just...
I've never finished that game.
Oh. I still remember when it was a GameCube game. I still remember them showcasing off back many moons ago. That's how old and crudgy I am.
Yeah, I own it. I just double checking. I still own it. I have not finished it, and I have to add that to the fucking list. And again, I have to restart the entire game because I have no clue what I'm doing.
I know it starts off with a massive army holding a giant castle. That's about it.
Yeah. But one of the biggest games, especially for you, I have nostalgia for this game, but not exactly the biggest fan as you or even Kadikarus is. And yes. That is the next Oddworld game.
Yes, Oddworld Soulstorm.
Surprised me because I expected Exodus remake. I expected the new and tasty Exodus. Because new and tasty is basically, hey, it's the same game, but we've amped up the visuals, we've changed the story. It basically rounded the story, make it a bit more concise and expand on what we wanted to expand on. Yeah. And not to mention the gameplay, which is a lot more accessible compared to how limited the PlayStation was.
Yeah, I mean, it's effectively in the same way with the Insane Trilogy, it's a reimagining, basically shot-for-shot remake, if you want to use the filmic term. But yeah, it's a basic updating of the original game's mechanics and tone. And for the most part, it is just that, with few flourishes. But this one...
Yeah, I expected this to be Exodus Soulstorm. Or this be called Oddworld Soulstorm, but here's Exodus, but with expanded story. It's basically just the new, like I said, new and tasty Exodus. It is not.
No.
I mean, it is, but it isn't.
It isn't, yeah. In fact, there's a website on YouTube called Magog on the March, which is kind of collects of, bits and pieces of interviews, featurettes about Oddworld over the years. And one of them does actually track when they first talked about it, it was going to be just an Exodus remake. But then maybe really early on, they decided, you know what, if we're going down this route, why don't we just push the button and just make it the actual new game in the series? At this point, it's like we've redone Munch, Stranger's Wrath, and, Odyssey, the original. So why not let's do the next in the quintology, which is meant to be 5 games.
So this is basically chapter 4. Oh, sorry, chapter 3.
I think it's meant to be chapter 2. It's officially chapter 2 now, but I'm kind of curious whether or not that means Munch and Strangers is now written out, but we'll have to wait and see when the game comes out.
Yeah, because I think Munchies was chapter 2, was basically the second chapter. It meant to be another protagonist.
The idea was originally, I think, every main game was going to be some of these Odysseys. So we'd had Abe, Munches, and the next one was going to be Stephen Squeaks, supposedly. Yeah.
I know Stranger's Wrath was basically a third-person shooter. That was just a weird game. I might pick it up because I see it on the Switch now. I might just stick to getting it on Steam and such. Yeah. Seeing the gameplay is basically, I look at it, it's like, okay, Soulstorm, look at this. And every single time they kept going on, I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, how much are you putting into this and how much are you changing? Because not only is it the same game, same basic concept of the game. Yes, Soulstorm is the same basic concept. You run on a back and forth on a 2D plane. I'll get to it. And you save Mudokons from the brewery, or is it something else?
Basically, it's like Exodus is originally, you're once again trying to save your fellow Mudokons from the evil of the Gluckons, the business-hungry bastards of the Oddworld world.
But it's like, okay, first of all, you have more control over them, and you can and you have more ways to get around. Okay, there is a moral choice system. You can sacrifice your Mudokons. Okay, you're kind of breaking me a little. You can carry items and use them. I was like, okay, that's much different. It's also not a 2.5D or 2D game. It's a 2.9D.
Yes, that's officially.
Basically, what game? Several games did it, but it wasn't given a term where you can jump into the background. Even back as the original Rayman 2, the secret demo in Rayman 2, where you can go into the background. That's what it is. It's 2.5D. I think 2.9D. I think even the new and tasty did that as well. You went to the background.
There were some sections where you could actually go into the foreground and come back and forth to do some puzzle.
I think this has 3 layers now, doesn't it?
For What I've seen, probably. I mean, they keep shifting back and forth between either obstacles you have to avoid or destroy or whatever.
Yeah, it's like no one. It's like basically I was looking at it, it's like I know Oddworld, I know like everyone else. Okay, I am like everyone else. I know Oddworld specifically for the two games, Odyssey and Exodus.
Yeah.
I've barely played any Munchies. I've barely played any Stranger's Wrath.
Yeah.
And I've gotten at least halfway to 2/3 way through of New and Tasty before the PS Plus ran out, and apparently if you download the games on the PS Plus for free, you don't get to play them if you run out of PS Plus.
Yeah,
I hate that. It's like, hey, I got a free game. You can't play it anymore because you no longer remember. Oh, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Xbox Live, if you keep the fucker. I have not had gold in three goddamn years, but you know what? I can still play Vanquish whenever I want.
Yeah, actually, one thing I should bring up is obviously that the game has been announced as coming out April 6th. You know, initially it was announced as a Epic Games exclusive, which, you know, was a whole kettle of fish in itself, but it is coming to PS5.
It's still a whole kettle of fish. We just recently got Untitled Goose Game on freaking Steam.
Yeah, but now they've officially put this out, and they have said also that if you get it on the PS5, it's no extra cost for the PlayStation Plus, which, funnily enough, just before we record this, I was listening to an interview of Lanning a few years back where he was actually he was considering not putting it on the PlayStation Plus, but he particularly put it out, he wasn't sure whether Sony would fork out the money to sort of advertise it for that. And I guess they now have, because apparently out of all of the different platforms, you know, it's doing really well on PlayStation, because for most people, that's where Oddworld started.
Yeah, I think, was the interview before or after the resurgence of the PlayStation Classics on PS4?
It was back in like 2016, so it was short.
Definitely.
Yeah, so again, it's something, again, he was talking about, he wasn't sure because it's a new thing and how it works in comparison for people able to get at it, and games they want to buy either normally, or they can just wait until I'll just wait until the service gives me it.
Yeah, because now we had Crash fuck's sake, I was going to say Twinsanity for a second. Crash N-Scene Trilogy, Reignited Trilogy Spyro, we've had the Resident Evil remakes of 2 and 3, we've had Final Fantasy 7 remake, and we've had a faithful remastering, still a bit janky, of Medieval.
Yes.
Who would have thought Medieval would get freaking remastered on PS4?
Yeah, exactly. Especially because
I own all those on PlayStation. Not to mention we had CTR remake, and we finally got Crash Bandicoot 4.
Yes.
I could have easily been an Xbox fanboy. I could have got an Xbox One, but no, I got PS4, and all those are PlayStation in my eyes. So I think that's really the reason why, because everyone has this super nostalgic boner for PlayStation.
Yes.
Because these are the games that say I am a gamer now. If they end up remaking, because there's also the sidebar, there was also an announcement that David Hayter and a lot of the old cast from the original Metal Gear Solid game are reuniting for a project. Will there be an MGS1 remake?
Yeah, that's
from a Konami that's not a bunch of limp dicks.
Well, there's been a lot of talks about whether or not should Konami just sell the MG rights over, because they're not going to use it apart from gambling machines.
Konami should sell over all the freaking rights to all the IPs to someone else, but hold on to a usable license so they can still have the fucking pachinko machines.
Yeah, but again, we'll probably talk about that if and when we do hear supposed to be this ongoing MGS1 remakes that happen. We'll get there. But
if there is going to be a second remake, technically.
Another remake, because we had one. We had the Twin Snakes, which is a different game in itself, but again, another time, another podcast.
So, because I'm just using that example because it's PlayStation nostalgia.
It is, yeah. And again, I know a lot of Oddworld fans, particularly when Exodus ended, you know, we did have a teaser for coming soon, Munch's Odyssey, and they all thought it was going to be for the PlayStation 2. And there was showcase initially for the PS2 at the time, but then of course Microsoft were interested, and then they made it exclusive for their system, which pissed a lot of their core fan base off.
Oh, it pissed me off because I was looking forward to it as well. It's like, I'm not following an Xbox. It was got a PlayStation 2, and I think like 2 years later, my brother got a GameCube. And it wasn't until like later that Christmas that my brother Cal got an Xbox. But it's like, I couldn't be asked. It's like all the games I want are on this one. There's like 2 games on the Xbox at a time that I would have wanted. It's like, I got Sonicguru on Xbox. I already have it on PS2. What's the point?
Well, probably without the...
Yeah, but I had Sonicguru on PS2 before the GameCube.
Yeah, I mean, particularly people will say, yeah, that's not the good version of it, but hey, we'll talk about that for another time.
Hey, I finished it. I don't care.
But yeah, anyway, with Soulstorm, so yeah, as you keep saying, from the look of it, is that it is a complete reimagining of Exodus. I mean, for what I've seen of the trailers and gameplay stuff, the basis of it, that it still has the core ideas in, there's this brew that the Gluckans are making and they're selling it to the Mudokons, and subsequently they're using the slave labor so they can make more of it. The twist is, it's in the original version of Exodus. It turns out they're just miming the bones of their own dead ancestors to make a drink. That's lovely. And obviously Abe's got to try and find a way of stopping it. I mean, there seems, for what I gather, that this is going to go more into that aspect, because in the original, it did start off with you finding out that aspect, and then, typical shenanigans, and Abe have discovered stuff and Kitty gets a slapstick comedian. This one's going to go more, supposed to be in his character and what it means to his race. And there's actually a little sequence in one of the cutscenes where supposedly he's about to take off his stitchings. And
that freaking unnerves me. That's like someone cutting their own tongue. I don't know why. I just got that feeling. It's just like, no, that's part of your character. That's your design. Don't do that.
Yeah, well, the weird thing is that supposedly the backstory, again, this is going in. So the reason why he's had stitch in his lips was when he was young, he was a crybaby, and supposedly his mother, who was like this, I think they just kept her in captivity just to breed all the Mudokons to slay her. But supposedly she put the stitches on him so that he, A, to shut him up, but also to keep him alive. And again, it's sort of viewed as, it's always been said by Lanning in the backstory in Lord of the Oddworld mythology, if you want, but it's never been shown on screen. So I'm kind of interested if they're going to actually showcase like a flashback to the reason why he had the stitches and alluding to maybe or maybe not he'll cut them off. Again, we'll have to wait and see when the game comes out.
Oh, all Mudokons have stitches, though?
No, only he does, no.
Only he does?
No, only he does, yeah.
I have never noticed that. I thought all of them did.
No, well, there is a little icon. There's like a little icon the game has for actually one thing Exodus does is like you can have different moods of Mudokons. So for instance, you can get one that are drunk on the brew. You can get one who are angry. There are ones who are sad, and there's even blind ones. So I'm kind of interested in this, considering one of the first things they talked about, and Caddy knows this because he's actually bloody seen it. Lucky sod. Supposed to be that you get
NDAs.
Yeah, I know, but again, he's a big Oddworld fan. He's put the tattoos on his hands, for God's sakes. Neither of us would.
No, I said fuck you, NDA.
Yeah, but that's a different thing. Anyway, but yeah, supposedly the big thing is you can control up to, you can command 100 Mudokons at a time. In fact, there's some sequences where you literally herded them out and out of a factory or something. And you said this before, in this case, it's there are cases where you have that many, some of them are going to get killed. And it's kind of imagine Lemmings, but instead of being the cursor trying to protect them all, you are actually the player character they have to follow and have to avoid all the crazy shit in the world.
Yeah. And that showcase of everyone dying, it's just okay, how much more gruesome can we put this? I think they challenged themselves on that.
Yeah, I mean, Oddworld is interesting. Lanning has said, he's always imagined it. Imagine something like 1984 if it was portrayed by the Muppets. I think that's how he describes Oddworld. And it has a commentary about, the natural world versus the industrial world and how it can sort of corrupt, the soul versus the mechanics and whatever. But again, it still has its sense of humor and stuff. If I put it this way, for all the stuff they're showcasing, the one thing I'm curious is, can you still possess your own fart in this game? Because you could in Exodus.
I completely forgot you could do that.
Yeah, that is the thing in Exodus, so I'm waiting to see that. You can still possess people, you can still, turn slugs against each other, you can, craft items, you can then actually cause fire, that's a big thing in this game. You can actually destroy environments in front of you to access places, but I want to see possessive farts. I want to see that mechanic in play.
Yeah. Aside from Kana, Soulstorm, the other thing we took away from that. Also, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, which is going for the Resident Evil 7 gameplay approach rather than the usual. I haven't played a FNAF game since 4, but I've seen all the rest. Thank you, Markiplier. So I am somewhat looking forward to this, but at the same time, I showed Sarah this, and she's like, no.
Oh dear.
Like, I look forward to with this. I'm surprised it is on PS5. It's amazing how a single indie developer who went from making shit games was somewhat challenged. Like, you can't make it any more scary than this. There you go, fucking try it.
Mm.
And now has a lucrative series.
Yeah, I mean, put it this way: we're at this point, supposedly, we're still waiting for the actual movie of this, but now there's a Nicolas Cage one out in the minute, which is apparently doing very well. So I'm kind of curious how long we're going to have to wait for that.
Well, it's going to be canon if Scott's that involved with it.
Yes, the canonicity of the Freddy universe. Who would have thought it?